Early tonight, it is the story of one woman's struggle to keep her family, her health, and her job. Wendy McKinney worked for the Cleveland County Schools for 15 years and planned to retire there.
As Queen City News chief legal correspondent Seema Iyer reports tonight, an unexpected pregnancy and one health problem after another put the job that she loved in jeopardy.
We have a 3-year-old little boy that was a little surprise for us, and his name is Marshall. Marshall!
With 2 grown kids, an adopted 8-year-old, and a grandson, Wendy and Dale never expected they'd get so lucky.
Considering what we went through to get him here, he is very healthy. He's all boy. He loves to be outside, loves to ride a gator with his pawpaw, so he's wonderful.
What they went through began with Wendy being classified a high-risk pregnancy due to her age. She was 47.
They kept trying to talk us into termination, really, honestly, because of my age, and they said that the baby would probably have disabilities. Several doctors tried to talk us into termination.
It was a resounding no. If he'd had a disability, he'd had a disability. We just took care of him, loved him just the same.
Fortunately, Wendy's regular doctor was behind their wishes to have the baby. So she told her boss at North Shelby School right away. This was April 2018.
Asked me to bring him a picture of the ultrasound. I think he just wanted me to prove I was pregnant. He and I didn't get along very well.
Wendy had worked for Cleveland County Schools since 2003, first as a media manager, then a bus driver, then a data manager, and by the 2017-2018 school year, Wendy had been promoted to bookkeeper, and she sometimes even filled in for the data manager. But the pregnancy and her other medical issues were taking its toll.
The pain that I was in was excruciating. I would lay in bed and cry. I would beg him to help me.
In the last month or two, she couldn't even drive. We would have to get my mom and dad or our daughter or someone to take her to doctor's appointments and things. I mean, she was in so much pain.
Wendy had a ruptured disc in her back, carpal tunnel, and sciatica, but couldn't take any medicine because it could affect her unborn baby. Wendy says she only took days off when she simply couldn't function, and sometimes even ignored doctor's orders and went to work anyway.
So she had written me out of work in August. I did not turn in my note until the second week of September.
Why?
Because I didn't want to stop working. I wanted to be at work. So then it got to the point I just couldn't. I wasn't. Didn't feel I was being effective enough.
After Marshall was born on November 16, 2018, Wendy tended to her other medical issues. In fact, she was terminated while recovering from surgery. The reason? Excessive absences.
She did not deserve to be terminated from her employment while on short-term disability from a high-risk pregnancy at age 47, I think, and a ruptured disc that couldn't be treated until she delivered the baby.
Bill Moore represents the McKinneys in their lawsuit against the Cleveland County School Board. He's repeatedly told the judge and the school how deeply Wendy has suffered, especially after giving birth.
Yeah, for the first 4 weeks, I couldn't do anything. I'd sit down and somebody would have to bring him to me and let me hold him. I wasn't allowed to carry him around or lift him up because of my arms. So that's difficult, not to be able to take care of your newborn and watch somebody else, give him his first bath.
They took the worst time in her life and used it to accomplish what they wanted to accomplish in the first place. And that is just despicable.
Moore says Wendy only needed 4 to 6 weeks after having the baby, even though her short-term disability would have allowed her to stay out until the fall of 2019. Wendy planned to go back by January 2019.
Were terminated. I was told that normally people ask for up to a year when they request leave from the board, and I told them I didn't need a year, and I was punished for not needing a year, evidently, because I was terminated.
The school says Wendy used all her time under the Family Medical Leave Act while caring for her sick mom, plus took additional time off. Moore says all of Wendy's leave was legally permissible, and some of the FMLA time was improperly classified by the school. The school also says some of McKinney's absences impacted their daily operation. Moore disagrees.
She was doing her job and another job, and she had cover. The person that was filling in for her still has that job.
The central issue is Cleveland County's Board of Ed policy stating regular attendance is a duty and essential job function for all employees. To qualify under the Americans with Disabilities Act, as Wendy tried to, one must be able to perform the essential functions of a job with reasonable accommodation and without undue burden to the employer. Too many absences equals an inability to perform an essential job function, which means Wendy McKinney doesn't qualify under the ADA. That's at least according to Judge Max Cogburn, who dismissed the case before it reached the trial stage.
I think that was what the jury needed to determine, whether or not they did have to give her a short, extended, unpaid leave to allow her to resolve the short-term disability that they had recognized she had.
Judge Cogburn ruled the board didn't fire Wendy because of her pregnancy and ADA disability or because she took FMLA leave, but rather because of her excessive absences. Moore says that's an issue of fact for a jury to decide. Judges decide law, juries decide facts. Still, Judge Cogburn did note a sad truth in his decision, saying American workers have few options when they face a personal health crisis that forces them out of work for long periods. Wendy never intended for it to be forever.
I loved my job. I missed my job every day. I mean, it was the best place I've ever worked. I planned to retire from North Shelby School. It was just great.
Wendy knows she has to have faith, and seeing baby Marshall facing his challenges gives her strength.
His health is good. He has some eye issues. He has a really bad cross-eyed and doesn't see very well, so he wears glasses. He's had glasses since he was 8 months old.
She and Dale will continue to fight this case, now on appeal, with Moore by their side. A costly battle for both attorney and client, but one they're all committed to.
We've been very happy with Mr. Moore. He's worked so hard for us.
We're not personal friends, we're not social friends. Frankly, we don't agree on a lot of things like politics, but they're good people.
And Moore won't stop until this case goes where it rightfully belongs, in front of a jury.
This was not the right decision and that justice was not served.
Seema Iyer, Queen City News.
Singing happy birthday to him there. That's a story so many can relate to. Both Judge Cogburn and the lawyers for Cleveland County declined to comment on this story. Now, as for Wendy and Dale McKinney, they filed their notice to appeal earlier this month, and the appeal brief is due at the end of August.